Alright, here we go with the last section. I'm on question 58 on our test review. It says, at the local retail store, the price of an Xbox game is $28.50 and a PlayStation game is $49.50. On a certain day, 25 games are sold and oh my gosh, it's so early, y'all. $817.50 is collected. Write of system equations that would be used to determine how many Xbox games X and how many PlayStation games P were bought. Okay. So I'm going to write the equation here. So our equation is each Xbox game costs $28.50 X plus each PlayStation game costs $49.50 P equals we spent a total of $817.50. Okay. Well, I also know I bought Xbox games plus PlayStation games, and that I bought a total of 25 of them. Here's your answer for number 58. Okay, so now they want us to actually solve it, and we want to solve specifically for Xbox games. So because this one's not going to require a lot of work, I'm going to write it down here. So we have 28.50 X plus 49.50 P equals 817.50. Then we have X plus P equals 25. Okay, so they're looking for Xbox games. So here's what I want to do. I want to eliminate. I want to make a zero pair. I want something to have opposites. Specifically, I want to make my P disappear because I don't care about PlayStation games. I only really care about my Xbox games. Well, if I want these P's to have the same number, this one already has 49.50 on it. So I'm going to multiply the bottom row as well by 49.50. So that's important because then we'll have the same number. But remember, we also have the opposite sign. We need a zero pair. So if this says positive 49.50, I need to multiply this bottom row by negative 49.50 so that they're opposites. So negative 49.50 times X is negative 49.50 X. Negative 49.50 times P is negative 49.50 P equals negative 49.50 times 25. I'm going to go plug that in. Negative 49.50 times, I already forgot, 25. 25 is negative, let me write that down first, negative 1,237.5. Okay, so that's what I got. Now that I've multiplied that row, I don't really need it anymore. It's gone. We can come back to it later if we want. Okay, so now we're looking at what has the same number and have the opposite sign. We need a zero pair. Well, these have the same number, opposite signs. Our P's cancel. Now I'm going to combine these. 28.50 X minus 49.50 X. So if I'm not sure what that is, I go to my calculator, plug in 28.50 minus 49.50. I get negative 21. So I have negative 21 X equals, now I'm going to combine these two, 817.50 minus 1,037.5 and see what I get. So 817.50 minus 1,237.5, and I get negative 420. Well, if I'm solving for X, now we're going to divide both sides by negative 21. X equals, I'll plug that in, negative 420. Negative 420 divided by negative 21 is going to cost, we got X equals 20, so that means we bought 20 Xbox games. if I wanted to solve for my y now, or my p in this case, I know it's not asking for p, but let's say just in case I needed to solve for p as well. You can always plug it back into one of your equations, doesn't matter which one. So let's say I want to plug it into the second one, x plus p equals 25. Well, my x has to be 20, so 20 plus p equals 25. If I want to solve that, I would do minus 20 to both sides. P equals 5. So I bought 5 PlayStation games and 20 Xbox games. It didn't ask for this though. So if these were both multiple choice answers, which if this was a multiple choice question, I guarantee they would have both of these answers. Make sure you're answering the actual question. The actual question was asking about Xbox games. So this one would be our answer. For this graph over here, it says write the system of equations for the lines f of x and g of x, and what is the solution? Well, the solution is where they cross. They cross at 4, 2. So I'll write that over here, 4, 2. That's the solution. Now, if I want to write my equations, we can do it multiple different ways here. We can either look at my y-intercepts and do rise over run, or we can use our calculator and our squiggly line. If you are a rise over run kind of person, you would find 2 good points. So for example, I know for sure I can use this one because that's where they cross. And let's say I want to use my y-intercept, which is at 4. I can make my triangle, count my rise over run. 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 over 4 is 1/2. So my equation for f of x would be f of x equals 1/2 x, and my y-intercept is plus 4. Or your other option was make a table, x, y, tell me 2 points that are on that line. So let's say we wanted to use the same points, 0, 4, and 4, 2. And then you could have used your y1 squiggly line, mx1 plus b. And I don't feel like plugging it in because we've done so many like that, but if you did, you get the same answer. Same thing for the second one. We can either find 2 good points on that line and figure out my rise over run and look at my y-intercept. So for example, we already know our y-intercept is -10 for g of x. So now I just need another good point. So let's say I want to use this one. We could always use, what's this? This is that 1, -7 could work. You could always use 2, -4. It doesn't have to be the next immediate one. You just need another one. Make my rise over run try. Oh, this is -1/2, y'all. You didn't even tell me. My line's going down. That's negative. Write your name on the line. Should be f of x equals -1/2 x plus 4. This one's going up. It's positive. So rise over run, 1, 2, 3. Over my run is 1. Well, 3 over 1 is 3. So g of x equals 3x, and my y-intercept is -10. Or you could have pulled 2 points and used your squiggly line. So for example, your y-intercept was at 0, -10, and the other point we used was at 1, -7. If you plugged it in your calculator and then used your y1 squiggly line, it would have told you that your m was 3 and your b was -10. So either calculator it or look at your y-intercepts and make your rise over run triangle. Sliding down. For number 61, says the table of ordered pairs represents the points on the graphs of R and S. Use the tables to answer the following questions. What's the equation for R? What's the equation for S? And what's the solution for these? Okay. I'm gonna look at these real quick. Okay. So they gave us 2 tables and want an equation. I'm gonna go squiggly line that. Y1 squiggly line, x1 plus b, y1 squiggly line, x1 plus b. I'm gonna calculator that. So plus sign table. They gave us -2, 1, 2, and 5. and they gave us -5, -3.5, -3, -1.5. Y1 squiggly line, mx1 plus b. So my m is 0.5. My b is -4. I'm going to go ahead and change my 0.5 into a fraction. 0.5. Click this fraction button. It's the same thing as 1/2. So my equation for line R would be y equals, our slope is 1/2, so it's going to be 1/2 x. My y-intercept is -4. All right, now I'm going to go do the same thing for line S. So let me erase the points they gave us. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so they gave us -3, 0, 2, and 4. For my y's, they gave us -0.25, -1, -1.5, and -2. And they told us that our m is -0.25 and that our b is -1. I'll go ahead and change that into a fraction. -0.25, click on the fraction button, is -1/4. We'll squeeze it in there. All right. So for my equation for line S, it's going to be y equals, my slope is -1/4, so -1/4 x. My y-intercept is -1. If it's asking you for a solution, that means where do these two lines cross? Well, now that I do have my two equations, I can plug them in and literally go see where they cross. Okay, so we got y equals 1/2 x minus 4, and y equals -1/4 x minus 1. Alright, so if I'm looking at these, I click on where they cross. They're crossing right here. My solution is at 4, -2. Any questions there? I feel like, did I do any of these wrongs over here the other day? No, I wrote down both points. I'm just making sure. Yeah, okay. I did write down x and y and all of these. Good. Okay. Last three, 64, 65, and 66. I'm going to do them on the back because there ain't no room to work all that. Okay. So here's what I got for 64. So we have a bunch of different methods we could use. We could technically change these into y equals, plug them in, go see where they cross. Or I can use substitution method on this one technically. So I'm probably going to show you the y equals method and substitution method so you can pick which one you like more. If you have a variable that's by itself, box it. This is substitution method. Rewrite the one you did not box. So we got 2x minus y equals -5. Okay? So I know my x has to equal y minus 6. So I'm going to rewrite it. 2, instead of x, I'm going to put parentheses, y minus 6. And I still have my minus y equals -5. Multiply to take care of the parentheses. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times -6 is -12. I have my minus y equals -5. 2y minus 1y is just going to be 1y. Minus 12 equals -5. If I want to get y by itself, I do plus 12 to both sides. 1y equals, what is that, 7? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, 7. So my y equals 7. Because even if I divide it by 1, it's not going to change it. 7 divided by 1 is 7. Now I'm going to go back and rewrite the one I boxed. I boxed x equals y minus 6. Well, I know my y has to be 7. So x equals 7. minus 6. X equals 7 minus 6 is 1. So now when I go back to write my point, remember it's in the form xy, our ordered pair, or our point, would be 1, 7. So there's our solution if you want to use the substitution method. If you're someone who wants to use the calculator, here's how you could have done it that way. So let me just kind of split this into like 6 parts. So it would be like solving it by hand, how to change the y, how to change the y equals to plugging in for all of them. Okay. If you want to change it to y equals, so we have 2x minus y equals negative 5. Let's say you want to do calculator. Well, I need to get the y by itself. The opposite of positive 2x is negative 2x to both sides. So we have negative y equals negative 2x minus 5. Well, technically, if there's no number in front of my y, it's an invisible 1. I don't want negative 1y, so we have to divide everything by negative 1. What dividing by negative 1 does just changes the sign on everything. So instead of negative 2x, this is going to be positive 2x. Instead of negative 5, this is going to be positive 5. This is something I can plug in the calculator because it's in y equals form. So now I need to do the same thing to the other one. So we have x equals y minus 6. If I want to get the y by itself, I need to move this minus 6. The opposite of minus 6 is plus 6 to both sides. So we have x plus 6 equals y. Or we could always rewrite it if you want to put the y first. Y equals x plus 6. Now, I can plug both of those in my calculator, go see where they cross. Assuming I solve this one correctly, we should get the same answer. So y equals 2x plus 5, y equals x plus 6. I click on where they cross, which is right here, 1, 7. But I still got the point 1, 7. So up to you if you want to use other methods or if you just want to go ahead and change them both to y equals and then solve that way. Okay, down here. This one, I don't want to use substitution because there's no variable that's by itself. I'm going to want to eliminate on this one, and here's why. Because I already have opposites here. I already have a negative 2x and a positive 2x. These two are going to cancel out. Remember, if there's no number in front of my variable, it's a 1. Once I've canceled something out, I'm going to combine what's left. Well, 3y plus 1y is 4y equals negative 12 plus 4 is going to be negative 8. If you're not sure, you're going to plug that in your calculator. If I want to solve for my y, divide both sides by 4. Y equals negative 2. Okay, so now that I know what my y is, I can plug it into whichever one you want. So let's say I want to plug it into the top row. We have negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 12. We know my y has to be negative 2. So negative 2x plus 3 times negative 2 equals negative 12. Multiply to get rid of the parentheses. Negative 2x minus 6 equals negative 12. Well, if I want to get my x by itself, I need to get rid of this minus 6. The opposite of minus 6 is plus 6 to both sides. We got negative 2x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 2. X equals 3. So if I want to write my answer as an ordered pair, it would be x and then y. It would be 3, negative 2. If you want to change in both the y equals and plug it in, that's always an option as well. So let's say I'm not going to plug it in, but I'll at least help you with the converting part if you want it. Negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 12. I need to get the y by itself. Well, the opposite of a negative 2x is plus 2x to both sides. So we got 3y equals 2x minus 12. Well, I don't want 3y, so we have to divide everything by 3. So y equals 2/3 x minus 4. So there's one of them. You would plug it in. For the other one, we have 2x plus y equals 4. If I want to get the y by itself, the opposite of a positive 2x is negative 2x to both sides. So y equals negative 2x plus 4. If I plug these two in, assuming I solve this one correctly, it should also still get me 3, negative 2. Alright, sliding down to the last one. So, same thing here. Same story, y'all. We can either try to make one of these eliminate and then solve from there, or change both the y equals, plug it in, go see where they cross. Okay, on this one, I can make my x or my y disappear, either one, as long as they are opposites. I personally am leaning more towards y because I already have a positive and a negative, so they're already opposite. I just need to make them the same number. What can I multiply 3 by to make it into a 6? Hopefully you said 2. So multiply this whole bottom row by 2. 2 times 15 is 30x. 2 times negative 3y is negative 6y. 2 times negative 21 is 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 42. Make sure you multiply it by everything. The biggest mistake a lot of people were doing was they weren't multiplying it by the last part as well. Cross it out, I don't need that anymore. Okay, so positive 6y and negative 6y cancel out. Combine what's left. 5x plus 30x is 35x. Equals 63 plus 42, that's what? 3 plus 2 is 5, 6 plus 4 is 10, 105. If I want to solve for x, divide both sides by 35. X equals, I'm going to go plug that in, 105 divided by 35. 105 divided by 35 is 3. Alright, now I'm going to rewrite my first equation. We have 5x, it doesn't matter which one, I tend to rewrite my first one. 5x plus 6y equals 63. We know my x has to be 3, so 5 times 3 plus 6y equals 63. Take care of my parentheses. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 6y equals 63. If I want to get the y by itself, I need to move this positive 15. The opposite of positive 15 is minus 15 to both sides. 6y equals, what's 63 minus 15? My brain is too tired to function this early in the morning. It's 48. If I want to solve for y, we divide both sides by 6. We're going to do 48 divided by 6. 48 divided by 6 is 8. Y equals 8. So if I want to write my answer in xy, well, my x is 3, my y is 8. There is my solution. Okay, if you want to change it to y equals instead of doing this, we have 5x plus 6y equals, oh, I didn't even underline on those. Those are the two you would plug in your calculator. We have 5x plus 6y equals 63. If I want to be able to plug this in, I need to change it to y equals. So I need to move this positive 5x. The opposite of positive 5x is minus 5x to both sides. We got 6y equals negative 5x plus 63. We don't want 6y, so we're going to divide everything by 6. Y equals negative 5 over 6x plus 6. No, 6 times 6 is 36. What is that? Y'all, I don't want to. Let me see. It's 63. Whoa. Okay. 63 divided by 6. Oh, I wouldn't have got that. What? Really? Okay. This one I might plug in just to double check that I did it right. Plus 10.5 apparently. I'd plug this in one row of my calculator. Let's convert the other one. So we have 15x minus 3y equals 21. I want to get the y by itself. The opposite of positive 15x is minus 15x to both sides. Negative 3y equals negative 15x plus 21. Divide everything by negative 3. Y equals, was that 5x minus 7? So I am going to go plug these two in because I do know this answer is correct that I got over here. I wanted to double check that I converted correctly. So because we should get the same answer. Y equals negative 5 over 6. Y'all, you gotta tell me I'm not typing. Y equals negative 5 over 6. X plus 10.5. Y equals 5x minus 7. Okay, they still do cross at 3/8. The decimal freaked me out. Moral of the story, don't let decimals scare you. Alright, that is the whole review complete. Get it, got it good. You have a final coming up. Do well, don't panic, everything's alright. We've taught you everything you need to know.